Hello everyone. So some of you know that I have bees. For the people that don't know, you now know I have bees. I've been a beekeeper now for about 4 to 5 years. Beekeeping has been in my family for 40 plus years. My uncle was a beekeeper and he shared that passion and the hobby to my brothers and myself. So I'm going to share the journey of what goes on with beekeeping, since a lot of you do ask questions of, oh, what goes on and such. So this video is to help inform what goes on with beekeeping. So I hope this is insightful and you enjoy. So now, how do you acquire bees? So to get bees, what you do is you go online, you look in your local area. So for me, being in Massachusetts, I have a couple choices of ordering bees. I can either buy them by a distributor online. One of them is being Better Bee and Man Lake, and they will then ship you a package of bees in about a shoebox size container to the post office, where you then will go pick it up. Or your other option is you can go to a location where they drive down to either Florida, Georgia. There's a variety of places that they drive down to, and they bring the bees up to this location and you go pick them up. So today what I had done was I went to Barker's Bees in Oxford, Mass, and picked up four boxes of bees. And what it looks like is this. This is a container of bees. As you can see, we have 2 here. So inside this container here, there's about 3,000 or so bees inside here, along with a queen. So inside the container, there's a center part here where there's a can of food. So while they're being transported up from, I believe these are from Georgia, they have sugar water for their duration of coming up here. Then the queen, she's in her own separate location that has a couple other nursing bees that will help her with the transportation coming up from Georgia in this case. So this is what a container looks like. This is all mesh on the outside, so it's very breathable, and the bees can move around. They fan themselves to keep nice and cool. But yeah, they come in sets like this. Yeah. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go install them into the hives. Let's go. All right, so now we have the bees up here. We have everything that we're gonna need to install the bees. The boots to protect the feet and ankles. The bee suit that we'll put on in a moment. So when some people install bees, they use smoke. In my case here is I'm not going to. I'm gonna be using sugar water and spray it onto the bees, because what ends up happening is by just using smoke, the bees are still able to fly around while you're installing them. Whereas if you're using sugar water, it causes the bees to clump together and they then stick to inside the hive and they don't fly around. What ends up happening with the sugar water as well is the bees then clean each other off, and it's also food for them. It's not just like, hey, we're gonna spray them with the sugar water just to make them sticky. No, it's food for them. It's 1 part sugar to 1 part water. So yeah, we're gonna get suited up and then we're gonna install the bees. So now we're up at the hives. You'll notice, so most of the time hives are these small white boxes, actually like this here. I've done it a little bit differently, and this comes from a guy out of the Quabbin area of Massachusetts. His thought was if you keep the hives insulated, the bees can be more efficient with their work. The bees, they like to keep the hive at a certain temperature, along with when the queen goes to lay her eggs, the temperature of the hive has to be at a certain point for the eggs and the brood to get to a certain point so they can hatch and live a comfortable life. So these boxes here have a 2-inch piece of insulation that goes all the way around, and then the frames built, they are a lot deeper than your traditional frame. Reason being is rather than going into 2 boxes of hives, it makes it much more efficient to go into 1, and it allows the queen to move more effortlessly throughout the hive. So the box design is to be more efficient for the bees. The more efficient they are, the more honey they potentially can produce. So here's a frame. This is with no foundation. There is some wax that is rolled onto this, as you can see in the light here. So that's just to tell the bees like, hey, this is where you can draw out comb, and here's a little starter for you to get going. That's without any, and then so the comb can be used from previous years, and like it is, there's a little pollen and such on this frame here, so they can get going as soon as they get installed. They'll get going a lot quicker. So yeah, let's install the girls. They look like they're ready to go. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is separate this so that we only need to deal with one. Boom boom, bang bang. Alrighty. This set comes over here. This comes with me over here. Like I said, sugar water. We're gonna load them up. First we gotta get the sprayer to actually work. Oh yeah. There we go. Nice and misty. Alright. Load them up. As you can see on the top here, you have this little black nylon, whatever this material is, I don't know. The queen's attached to this. So we're going to take this piece of wood off. Oh, we got some workers up at the top. You can see they're looking to get out. We're gonna get some sugar water. And, oh, this is what I forgot to do. Let's do this. Get some pliers to make this easier. We're gonna do this too. Alright, so here's a can of, oh, as I drop it. Boom. Now sometimes what happens is the can is a little skewed. So the can sits right in like that. And then this is where the queen is. You can see all the workers tending to her. So yeah, there's a queen inside there with some assistants. And that's her entourage. Those are the bees that will take care of her during the travel. Now, at the end, at the end of this container, there's some cork on this side and this side. And as you can see on this portion here, there's some sugar in it. So, over the next week or so, what's going to happen is when I go to pull this cork out, the bees are going to eat the sugar from this side and assist the queen in making her way out. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the cork out on this side and put this into the hive. We don't need this. Now this might look brutal, but this is the most efficient way to get these girls into the hive. We flip it over, we get them all to one side and all to the other. Now I messed up because what I should have done was this. To let the bees get down into the hive, I should have taken out some of these frames. I'm just gonna push some of them down. They'll work their way down eventually, but for the sake of timing and such, we're gonna help them speed up the process. Sweet. Now, like I said earlier, we're gonna take the cork out. This is always a tricky part. I might need to get a nail or something. There we go. We use a screw. Now the sugar is open. So you can see now, there's the sugar there. The bees will eat this and make their way out. They will eat this, and then the queen will emerge out from there. Hive tool here. We're gonna spread this apart here. We're gonna put the queen towards the center too of the hive, just so everybody can smell her. Alright, she's in there now. We're gonna move this over here and get the rest of these girls into the hive. So now, the ones that I don't get out, I'm going to put the box near the entrance, and eventually they'll make their way into the hive. Now the next step, put the last frame on. Cool, and then we put the cover on. Alright, cover is here, screw here, and then one down, 3 more to go. All right, that's how it went today. That's how you install bees. First one is always a tricky one to remember, to hold the queen cage and not let it fall down, to make sure you have all the right tools in place for installing, along with that screwdriver with getting that cork is, I think, the most crucial part of, well, one of the most crucial parts of installing the bees, because if you get that cork and you push it in all the way, it ends up causing more problems for you. So making sure you hold on to that black string with the queen cage and pulling the cork out, those are my probably 2 things that I always forget to do. Sometimes though, the can with the sugar, when it's being transported, it gets a little lopsided. Luckily the cans weren't lopsided or had a little burl or edge to them, so they didn't get stuck too much. So everything worked out pretty well as soon as we got all the way done with the other ones. Edge, so it's very difficult to see right now. So as the bees are adjusting to their new homes, what's happening is they're starting to fly out a short distance from the hive, and they're doing circles, and what they're doing is they're orientating themselves in this region now. So this is now their home. They want to get accustomed to what's where, so they're either staying close by the hive and doing these orientations, or they're crawling up and around, like you can see on the second hive behind me. They're getting acclimated to their new area. So yeah, I'm happy you guys watched this. If you enjoyed this, like up. And yeah, the bees got stung the first time. I won't flip you off, but it was on the middle finger. So yeah, first sting of the year. We're ready to roll. Anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time, be safe. Peace.